Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you all are doing well, and if you're joining me in the Northern Hemisphere, then happy autumn. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm soaking up every single minute of it. I just got back from vacation yesterday, so I thought this video could be a little bit of an art vlog, just catching up with y'all on life and art, the things I'm working on, and the things that I should be working on and am not. I've been prepping for a really big shop update too, so I've been trying to get things done since getting back home, but also trying to maintain more of that kind of peaceful vacation attitude for as long as I possibly can. Anyways, if you watched the sketchbook video a couple weeks ago, you'll know I had a little vacation week at my sister's house. We had a lot of fun, lots of good conversation, good walks, good food. I ate more ice cream than was probably good for me, and I also took a lot of naps. We watched a lot of Studio Ghibli movies, and I gotta admit, Porco Rosso is one of my new favorites. But I 10 out of 10 do not recommend Tales from Earthsea. The first 95% of it was fine, I guess. Beautiful backgrounds, but honestly, the storyline was very confusing and all over the place. But that last 5%, man, that was the stuff of nightmares. My sister and I were literally sitting huddled together, bawling and refusing to look at the screen. That is how terrifying it was. Now, my sister is like a horror movie connoisseur. She's very, very brave and laughs in the face of fear. But when I tell you, we were literally screaming in terror. I very, very rarely cry, but my first reaction when faced with extreme fear is just waterworks. There is no stopping it. The floodgates open, and I am a sobbing mess. So anyways, if you're looking for a Ghibli movie to watch, not that one. Anything but that one. Speaking of scary movies, I also watched Coraline for the first time last week, and honestly, it was really, really good. Stop motion isn't really my preferred medium of animation, but it still absolutely fascinates me. The amount of time and effort that goes into stop motion movies, I respect that. But enough about movies, let's talk a little bit about art. The footage you're seeing now is from the Suns and Moons theme of my 100 Scene Studies challenge. If you follow me anywhere else, you'll know that this was admittedly a while ago, and I'm just now getting around to making a video about it. I don't know, I've been kind of burnt out on the scene studies, but I think I'm still on track to finish the challenge this year. In the realm of art, one of the activities I did with my sister was going to a contemporary art museum. We saw some really cool exhibits, some really weird exhibits, and I found a sheet. Lots of cool patterns, 10 out of 10. Seeing all of the sculptures really makes me want to get out my clay again, so hopefully I'll find some time for that soon. I didn't really do any art while I was on vacation, so I'm really looking forward to just getting back into it. I'm ready to bring out my gouache again. I've really been enjoying playing around in my sketchbooks versus doing like full illustrations, so I don't know, we'll see where that takes me. Exciting piece of news! I finally took the leap and made some prints of Bits and Bobbles. I also got Bits and Bobbles sticker sets professionally printed. In the past, I've been printing them at Office Depot and die cutting them all by hand, which I still do for some of the stickers in my shop, but I've been selling out of the Bits and Bobbles sets really quickly, and to be entirely honest, I am very tired of cutting them out. Is it more expensive to get them printed professionally? Yes. Did my bank account shed literal tears? Yes, we're no longer on speaking terms, but I am very much looking forward to not having to cut all of them out. Also, they just look nicer and they're waterproof, so that's a win. my Etsy shop today with all of these fun new things and more. I actually tried when I was taking product photos this time. In the past, I've used,
well, I'm just not good at taking photos,
as an excuse not to try, but I'm actually really proud of these products and I wanted to do my best to do them justice.
So tell us, Ellie, what are you doing for fall?
I'm just so glad you asked, and I would love to tell you. Fall is my most favorite season, so I've been taking a lot of fall walks and enjoying many, many gallons of tea each day. The leaves haven't fully changed colors yet, but it's really fun seeing them change a little bit more each day. My dad and I were chatting on our walk the other day about all of the trees and the shrubs around where we live, and whenever I'm doing any kind of greenery illustration, I completely freeze up. I put pencil to paper and I'm like, how draw leaves? Logically, I know there's so many different shapes and sizes and textures of leaves, and I know literally none of them. Long story short, I really want to do some leaf studies and actually start learning more about them. I'm definitely a gatherer of information. When I'm drawing something, I want to know more about it. For the most part, growing up, I basically hated school. I remember the very, very basics from high school and not much else. Math was lost on me, wasn't a huge fan of physics or American history, but when on occasion I found something that I was actually interested in, I devoted myself to learning everything about it. 8th grade marine biology, loved it. I watched every documentary I could, made a really dope collage of the water column and cool ocean life. To this day, the ocean still absolutely fascinates me. Fin whales, look them up! Those are some very fun eating mechanisms, but I'm getting off topic. The point is, I really want to expand my mental library of plant life to be able to draw them accurately from imagination. I did a few little leaf doodles in my sketchbook, but I definitely want to do more. These were more for just kind of playing around with color. I might have also had a little bit of an ink accident too. On a very random note, Harriet is not only still alive, but she's actually growing several more little sprouts. I have finally found a plant that I can keep alive, which is very exciting. She's been here for 2 months now and shows no signs of neglect. I should get a certificate or something. So let's talk a little bit about these scene studies. I did these during a relatively busy time, which was part of why I chose this particular theme. They were all easily able to be completed in about 3 or 4 hours, and several of them had quite a bit of negative space. I've really been wanting to learn more about painting clouds, and I also really enjoyed nightscapes, so I thought the sky theme would be really fun. I've always loved the scene in Luca where they're walking across the rooftops in front of the moon. I like how they look almost like little Peanuts characters. The way their mouths look in profile definitely gives me Peanuts vibes. Now guys, I struggled with the Howl's moving castle study. That sky was brutal. My paper kept drying before I could blend my colors, the clouds were acting wonky, and eventually I just called it good, and I moved on to the rocks. The rocks were a ton of fun. There were lots of colorful shadows and lots of little textures across the rocks that were really fun to recreate. And moss! Mossy rocks are fun, man. I want to paint more of those. The Avatar: The Last Airbender sky was... It was a struggle. In the end, I really liked how it turned out, but it was a semi-frustrating process to get there. However, I very much enjoyed doing the splatter technique for the stars. Big burst of serotonin, my friend. In terms of color, I think the Brother Bear study was my favorite. I don't often paint with purples, and it was really fun just, playing around with it. One of the things that absolutely fascinates me is how differently different blues will mix with different reds. I think I used mostly ultramarine blue in this one. When I mixed it with my red, it made this very punchy, vibrant purple that was super pretty. Also, I wasn't disappointed with how the clouds turned out in it, so that made me very happy. And then we got to the Spirited Away study. Guys, I don't know what happened here. I decided I wanted to try doing a full 2-page spread for this scene study, which is something that I haven't done before and honestly, I might never do again. I remixed the sky blue at least 3 times, and each time just made me more and more frustrated. Then I did what you shouldn't do, and I tried to tint my sky color with a more watery paint, which just reactivated it, and it made a smooshy, streaky mess. Finally, I just decided to embrace the streaks and really go full force with the brushstrokes. I also did the little splatter star thingy simply to improve my mood. After looking at the sky, I just wasn't happy with how it was looking, so I brought in more of those swooshy brushstrokes for a kind of a Van Gogh Starry Night vibe. This made me a little happier, so I moved on to the clouds. Thank the Lord the clouds turned out, because honestly, if they had caused me any amount of trouble, I probably would have just ripped the pages out. I was not in the mood to battle with potato clouds. So I finished with those, and then I moved on to Haku and Chihiro. I decided I didn't want to do that kind of more flat style of the movie, which admittedly was a dumb decision since I was already kind of upset about the painting. Even though I had added some more dimension than the style of the movie, it somehow looked even flatter. But I kept at it, hoping I could pull it all together in the end. At least when I'm looking at a reference photo and painting exactly what I'm seeing, I know where I'm supposed to go next. But when I'm painting from imagination or kind of warping what I'm seeing in a reference photo, it's a little more of a puzzle. I kind of have to feel around more to find my way. Eventually, I called it good with the characters and went back to the sky. I really wanted to bring in some more of those brushstrokes, so I decided to just, go big or go home and do a darker, more vibrant blue. At that point, I think I felt better about the sky. At least it made it more interesting to me, and I knew it was time to put my paintbrush down. I think art is sometimes more about knowing when to step away from a painting than what to add next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed watching me paint and catching up with me a bit. I'd love to hear about your autumn plans and what sort of projects you're creating. Huge thank you to my patrons for making this video possible. Don't forget that you have an exclusive Patreon discount for my new shop update. I've added tons of fun products today, and I'm so excited to send them out into the world and, maybe make a few people smile. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys!